Okay, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order at 6:37. The first item would be pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the next item is approval of January 4th meeting minutes. Since everybody got a copy early, I think it's just you.
That one?
No, this we did some.
Oh, good job. I wouldn't
Since everybody got a copy, is there any additions or subtractions or? Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
Sure.
Okay. James Bryant makes a motion. We have a second. Okay, Caleb Gabe seconds the motion. Any other further discussion? If none, all in favor? Raise your hand. Aye. All in favor? Okay. The next item is the work session approval on January 30th.
There's a change that needs to be made on those. When it says discuss subdividing the property for the timber company, it was not for the timber company. It was for a public citizen.
Okay, will you make
I'll fix
that?
that.
Okay, any other discussion? Entertain a motion to accept the work session minutes. Okay. Caleb Gabe makes a motion. Do I have a second? All right, so we have a motion and a second to accept the work session minutes. Any other discussion? None, all in favor? Okay. All right. The next item is approval of January financial report.
I have a question on office supplies. Why is that so high?
Because we bought a monitor, a fireproof safe for the town.
I thought that was on last month's.
The humidifier, that was it. We've got storage boxes, which is bank boxes for the records, past years put in. Bought some Gorilla Glue to glue the edge of the desk. And, calculator, because the one that was in there, Bubby just could not figure out how to use it. I mean, I'm not saying, well, I mean,
Thanks for throwing her under the
well,
bus.
I'm sorry,
That's fine, I just, that just seemed like an awful lot if it was just papers and stuff, so.
What's park maintenance? So what form do we use to show and outline what office supplies have been purchased? Instead of using this form to discuss what it is it written out somewhere? Do we put it in the ledger? Do we put it in another minutes? How do we know what office supplies are bought?
There's the receipts.
Looking at the receipts.
So that's receipts, great. So why can't we develop a system that shows and breaks down these purchases so there's no questions? It shows exactly purchases. I don't know if that's going to be discussed in a working group and then it's purchased, or so be it, but it gives a catalog of exactly what was ordered and justified. So from a year from now, and I say, hey, there was a computer monitor bought, why was that? You know, if there's any discrepancies, it's already recorded and logged.
Right. Well, I can look and see with the new QuickBooks, this one that they're using now, there's just not anywhere to put a whole lot of information that will print on this sheet.
Okay.
Because this is just a check register.
I don't necessarily know if it would be in QuickBooks, but I think we need to build a system that records and catalogs the purchases that we make that are out of the ordinary. And I think that'll save you and help you and assist you in the future when it comes to, you know, questions of why things were purchased and stuff like that. And it just, you know, when you see this spreadsheet and you just see office supplies and you see that value, you know, if you get audited, what do I use now? So you're just going to use receipts. But if we were doing a display or a demonstration of the purchase that we purchased over the year, I would be able to create a chart or anything like that. You can use PowerPoint, you do whatever.
Excel would do it.
Yep, Excel, absolutely. Excel would be perfect. And then in Excel, you can bring it into a bar graph, any type of graph you want that'll show the purchases over the year. Because then, that's a perfect example, and I don't mean to carry this on, but if you're buying automation equipment, in 2 years, it's obsolete and you're renewing it. So that gives you a planning factor of, hey, I've purchased this, and this is forecasting X number of months, years later, that I'd be repurchasing it.
Okay. All right, Caleb, we had a question about park maintenance other, that's 750 or so, Chad's personnel. I will tell you that I will be, and I might have should have already done it, but like I say, I do want to amend the agenda because I do have something I want to bring up about this to help correct this problem, hopefully. Because I do agree that we need to have a better system here to identify what's what and where everything's going. On the second sheet, you'll see, accounts, general operating budget or account, what's in there, the schoolhouse checking account. The 12-month CD is my understanding is the schoolhouse had a grant. The schoolhouse teachers, retired teachers, I guess applied for a grant. This is before I came along.
It wasn't a grant, it was actually, they went to the governor at that time, to his discretionary fund, and he gave them the money, so it wasn't a grant.
So that's why it's set aside for the, it's for the school. And then, of course, the 12-month CD, which we need to do something tonight about, is coming up, as Bubba said, the 19th of this month, so we need to add that if we want to renew that. But that's sort of moved over into a reserve fund. And then the splash account is what it is there, $14,063.48. And per our clarification from Jeff, our attorney, that we can either or spend between roads and parks because there was a confusion of how the ballot was rated. We can do either park improvements or road improvements. So we can spend, but that's only 2 items. So we can spend it on this building or
So just a question, these two funds right here, this 12-month CD and this one, are they basically the same and add that money together?
No, well, yeah.
Okay.
You add those two, so actually those two.
So it's
numbers-
30,000.
Yeah,
30,900 and some
Yeah.
change. Actually, it's 31,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
but now this 12-month, this $10,000 one, and like I said, I don't know what the stipulation was, but I'm pretty sure that has to be spent on the teaching music.
Exactly.
Teaching music, okay.
And that's why, and the checking account, because what we did was the Retired Teachers Association gave up the schoolhouse and their checking account, and that's what that schoolhouse museum fund, that's just a checking account, that's a checking account for them to write checks for supplies or whatever.
Or if anybody were to give a donation,
Yeah.
that's
Got
what
it.
it is.
Yes, ma'am. Great.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. There's not, I'm gonna take a motion to accept the January financial statement.
What's the question?
All right. James Wright makes a motion.
Second.
Caleb Gay seconds the motion. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor? All right. Before we go into this, I would like to add a couple of things under new business. Add D. Let me try to, setting up QuickBooks, the online version. And then I'd like one more item, and that will be it. E is a propane tank for the town. Does anybody have objections to those two items?
I'm sorry, you what now?
I said, does anybody, I need to add D item, set up QuickBooks. E is a propane tank for the town.
You need to add L, egg hunt. We discussed that in our work session.
Okay. Does anybody have objections to what we added?
You need to, when you want to see any added to this.
Oh, yeah, CD.
It's already on there.
Okay. Oh, look at.
It's
Oh.
under old business.
Oh, well, you already got it. Okay. All right, so, anybody else have anything to add? All right. First item under old business is undeveloped streets. I think we still need to leave that as it is until we get some other things done. Next item is repairs of town hall, and I'd like to discuss a little bit about that. Have a gentleman come and get up on the roof and check the cap, end cap, and go along and replace screws and stuff, and he fixed some of the problems, and then they arose some more problems I see after the heavy rain that we had Wednesday. Well, anyway, the past heavy rain, we got back, he suggested a bigger tarp to cover a larger area back there and go further to the ground. And then we caulked all the split joints and stuff, and it's still flooded. So what I am proposing, and what I need, is that, we have to get this thing fixed. That's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. So we're just, it's a process of trying to eliminate where the water's coming from. He's gonna stop by here tomorrow. The next day, I suggested sandbags, maybe because there is a lot of water standing against the building, but I'm not sure. To be honest with you, I'm not sure how the water gets in there. But I need to let the council know, or whatever, you know, whatever this costs is what it costs, and we need to get, you know, I mean, other than tearing down the wall and build it, but if we spend $300 here trying to, you know, up to $1,000 or $1,500 or whatever, trying to determine where this water's coming in, I mean, we've got to find it. I mean, you know, so I mean, it's not a luxury item, I would say. And because the water comes all the way out here. That's one reason that fan is running, because it's drying the water. So we've got to get it dry one way or the other. And so I'm just letting the council know that try to save as much money as we can, but like I say, we're trying to figure it out. It's going to be warm for a while now, so I don't guess Chad got the message about the meeting tonight, so he's not here. But he works for Heritage. But while it's warm for the next couple of days or next week or so, we need to move those propane tanks out. We need to move the cardboard stuff out. We need to get in there and see what we can find and try to stop. You know,
All that stuff's directly behind the building.
yes, except, well, not within a foot. Well, not within a foot or so. So I mean, you know, the sandbags and stuff, that stuff, you know, moved, you know, and stuff.
But how far are we gonna go before we say we can't find it? And can we not get, like, who's got the guy to come out and look at it? Can we not get him to come out and give us an estimate of what it would cost to take that wall down and build it back? I mean,
Well,
you and I both know we've been dealing with that for, what, 15 years and we've not been able to stop it yet?
Well, I mean, I understand that if that's how far you want to go with it, but you know, like I say, I mean, that's I'm asking y'all. I mean, but
I mean, you know as well as I do, I don't know how many thousands of dollars we've already put in that back wall alone. Just the back wall.
well, that's something. Oh,
Yes.
guys,
Ever since we bought this building and enclosed it, we've been dealing with that water coming in that back wall. We even went so far as to shut the well down, which needed to be done because it was being contaminated by street runoff. But we even did that because they told us we had a sump pump put in it. I mean, we've had pumps.
well,
We have actually, every single thing that anybody told us to try, we have tried. We dug it out, we put coating on that back wall, there's plastic back there, we put in a French drain. I mean, we had the new caps put on. I mean, that's how long we've been dealing with this and still can't get it stopped. And that's why I, knowing what Randy and the fire department have gone through over the years on that back wall, I'm like, okay, where do we stop putting money into stuff that's not gonna fix it and say, okay, we're gonna have to bite the bullet and we gotta find a way to stop it. Instead of just keep throwing money, put the Band-Aid on. Exactly.
okay, so
And I understand we have to fix the building, but I'm just saying, at what point do we say enough's enough and get somebody in here and redo the wall?
Well, if the wall was redone, would that fix the problem?
We're not even sure of that.
well, I'm pretty sure it would, because it'd be concrete, it wouldn't be block.
Yeah,
I mean, it would be concrete up to above ground level, and then you can frame it the rest of the way with wood or metal, and you know, frame it in that way.
that's why the concrete was poured back there. That was another thing to try to alleviate.
Now I will tell you this, that the way the concrete was poured on this side right here to about halfway down the building, the water stands there. And like I say, it stands there a lot. So like I say, the only other thing I can think of, either, like I said, the guy's gonna stop by here tomorrow or the next day, but the only two options is to put a tarp back there and get it to the street and, you know, sandbag it or whatever, or put sandbags against the building to turn the water. And that's why I don't need all that stuff moving. But we have chased it down to ground level. It's not coming up, it's not coming anywhere from above. It's gotta be ground level or below.
So it's not coming in so it's not coming in at all where you have that problem.
Well, and now
Is it coming in around the wood, is what I'm asking? Or do we know for sure that it's coming in from the ground?
Well, it's gotta be coming up, because I've caught every crack, every put a piece of tape, everything. Like I say, it's gotta be on the ground.
Then why not, as a last ditch effort, why don't we dig that out and pour a wall so far up and see if that'll stop it?
I think you're right, I think the only thing to do, and we'll check out, but like I say, I think the only thing to do is redo the wall. If we're gonna do that, we need to redo the whole wall.
Well, and I'll say it again, as much time and effort, even, the fire department volunteering, how much equipment's been lost, furniture, and all that has been lost because of that, we've got to get it done. So that we don't, I for one am tired of throwing money that could be used elsewhere into that wall.
So we need to get some quotes to.
Alright, so now what you're telling me is that we wanna replace that wall. Is that what, I guess we need to, I think we need to.
Well, if you wanna try doing the tarp, that's fine, but I'm saying, put a limit on how much we're willing
Oh,
to
no.
do this time, and then if that doesn't fix it, then we need to look
Oh,
into
yeah,
replacing the
because-
wall.
Because this is it. This is as far as we can go, is the edge between the flashing that's back there, which is not a solid piece of flashing, but between the flashing and the concrete is the last resort, and to try to turn the water there is the last resort.
So have you got actual bids before the past?
No, not as far as tearing it out or anything.
Do you think we should get at least 3 bids?
Oh, yes,
to see-
now,
Okay.
now you'll
Just to identify what the problem is and see how
Well,
much the scope of it.
Well, now, let me tell you that we've had companies and people and
Engineers.
over the years come and say this will fix it, that will fix it. The 2 contractors and the one that won the bid that put the metal back there swore up and down that it had to be coming down from the side, but it's not. It's not the side, because the siding has created this old cedar siding, pine siding that can split. It's where the joints is, and it's spread apart, and I caulked all that, thinking, well, I'll make sure. So before this big rain, I did all that, and like I say, it didn't rain. So and the contractor that checked everything up top said that, I talked to him this today, and he says it's that ground level. But now we haven't got bids on replacing the wall.
And I think, I'll throw this out, I think if it comes down to having to replace that wall, I think we need to reach out to the community that wants this building to stay here and wants to use this building, and say, okay guys, this is what we gotta do to be able to continue to use this. We need donations to help it.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I don't think it's gonna cost as much as you think it is, but,
If we have to replace the wall, it will.
no, it's not as much, I don't think it's gonna be
Okay.
quite as much, but anyway. All right, so are we gonna say that we're gonna spend up to $500 or something like that, maybe?
I'll say up to $1,000, no more than 1,000.
All right, so
I'll make a motion that we cap the expense on trying to repair the town hall back wall at $1,000, and if that doesn't fix it, then we need to look at other options and get bids on replacing the
I
wall.
think you need to make the motion to save water, because if we get the water stopped, we'll have to come back and put the metal down. So let's say it's up to $1,000.
Okay.
Just,
I make a motion that we approve to spend up to $1,000 to stop the water from coming in the back wall. If this doesn't stop it, then we need to come back and get bids on replacing the wall.
so is everybody good with that?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you're not? Okay,
Why don't you just get the bids first?
okay.
If you get the bids first, then it identifies the problem, then you can see the funding that you're doing. I don't understand why you're doing a motion for an arbitrary number of $1,000. What is that?
Well, if we're gonna get
for bid, we need to get a bid from the mitigation company. Not somebody to replace the wall, someone to come, not, at least identify it,
Well,
not just replace the wall.
Well, the problem is that we've had companies come out here that
Right.
are supposedly leak specialists, and foundation specialists come out,
And they will not guarantee their work.
Well, we
And
don't-
some of them
but
won't
now-
even, some of them won't even, they'll look at it and they'll say, I'm not
But-
touching it.
okay. I think,
But you're basically putting a motion in to spend $1,000 just to see if it works.
yes, okay, and I think I do agree with James here, and I see where he's coming from, because I think in the long term, and I know Mr. Hendrix is not, he's on a different, but he's dealt with, rock work and foundation and stuff, and I think the blocks is over 50 years old, and I think the problem is they're crumbling. It could be a broken block down below the surface or whatever. And I think that even if we get this fixed on the surface, I believe somewhere down the line that we are going to have a problem. So
Which is why I said,
I think besides chasing this any further this way, I think I do agree with James that we give 3 bids to replace that wall.
okay,
back
Depending on the quotes, those gentlemen or whoever comes up that gives you quotes could say, hey, here's long-term fix, here's immediate fix. And my estimate of this immediate fix, I would estimate it at being at this cost. And if we're aware of that cost, then I think you could have a motion for that cost. But just to have an arbitrary number right now, I don't think that's adequate enough.
Well, the problem with chasing water is you don't know how much it's going to cost, because water can find the least bit of spot to get in. And that's
especially when you're dealing with these old blocks.
And so that's the problem. I mean, we're chasing, and like I say, now you might fix this problem, but now besides going down this hole, it's going down another hole, because you stopped that hole, because I think this is a primary example. They went up and dug screws, and like I say, right here, we got a new leak that's never been there. So I think, like I said, you're chasing. And I do agree. I think that we need to say, really truly, to say get bids on replacing that line. I think that's the only way with concrete. And I think,
I don't necessarily like, why would you use a company that's not going to back their work?
well, it's not necessarily they wouldn't back the work, but when you're chasing water, when you're chasing a leak, you might stop it here.
Okay, well, I get a patch. I get a patch.
Yeah.
I get that, but if they do like a full wall repair.
Oh, no, that would be, no.
No, that's different. What we're saying is, the people that were coming in and were trying to patch it and find, like digging it out and putting in the French drain, or digging it out and putting the tar and stuff on it. They wouldn't guarantee it because of the age of the blocks,
I got you.
okay?
But now, like I say, you better believe that they're going to guarantee their work if
They do a full
call
wall.
in.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so,
All right, can I rescind my motion for the town hall repair? And I go back and I will say that I make a motion that we get 3 bids on replacing the back wall from the ground up.
okay, all right.
Actually, that wall will be below ground.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, all of it's below ground.
okay, all right. So
That's
do I
my
have a-
motion.
So do I have a second? All right, so we have a motion and a second on the floor to get 3 quotes to replace the rear wall facing 2nd Street. 3 bids to replace that. Yeah. Do I have a second? Andrew, a second. All right. Any other discussion on that? If not, all in favor? Okay.
Before you move, I have a quick question. Do we not need to make a motion and vote on tabling the undeveloped streets?
Well, maybe we did. I don't know.
If you're not gonna address it, you just.
Because I thought it was already tabled, we're not bringing it. Did that one, okay.
Until you pick it up.
Okay, all right. Liz, I hate for these gentlemen to set here for the whole meeting, when, is it okay with everybody to take care of A under, subdividing property, located on Highway?
I make a motion that we move A under new business up to C, or do it before we continue with old business.
All in favor? Second, second. Okay. I think I give y'all at the work session, a copy of, the plat.
Is it this one?
Yes. Have you, have one of you got, an extra copy for Jeff, the attorney, so he can look at that, if you don't mind? Okay. I think at this time, they're really, okay, let me start off that I talked to, Richard Osborne with the, county, and he did say that we are in control of our zone, on that. So like I say, we're in control of that. So basically, one proposal that they have at the moment is subdividing that almost 60 acres they bought into about 15-acre tracts. It's a little less, it's like 14.7 acres or something, but around 15 acres. And as I take it, they don't want to change any zoning, they just want to subdivide it. And all that property does have road frontage on it, on State Route 136. And what I gathered, and like I said, they're just trying to figure out what they can do, what they can't do on it. But the way they presented it as of now, that other than showing this, they want to keep it zoned the way it's zoned.
Which is agricultural.
Right. And then let whoever else buys it come in and, want to rezone it something else. So all they want to do is split it up that they bought.
Alright, my question is, when you were talking to Richard, did you also ask him if at this time we are able to approve the subdivision, or subdividing the property?
Yes, I mean, y'all have already been in contact with the county, is that right?
Yes, they told us that they didn't have anything to do with it. They said you folks are the ones that will have the answers.
But Maurice, didn't they tell you to begin with that you couldn't subdivide it?
You got the county.
But now they're coming back and
That's
saying they don't have
discussed
jurisdiction.
it with, we bought it, because we was gonna sell part of it, my daughter was gonna build it there, put a little horse on it. Well, the county, Ken had talked to me about it, and another guy called me about it, and I went to see Mr. Buckingham. Mr. Buckingham said you can't do it. I said, what do you mean you can't do it? This is my property, or our property, we bought it. He said you cannot subdivide it for a year. 1 year you can subdivide it one time, you gotta wait another year to subdivide it. I said, why didn't you bring that up? I want to plan development, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now they've come back and told you that they have no authority over whether or
He
not
told
you
me,
can
he said he
subdivide.
walked up to the talking rock.
Yeah, he was under some misconception early on that was county property out there and not city property.
Well,
So-
I've had that discussion with him before, so.
So,
Okay.
But now, Rodney's not really over planning development, is he? He's got another project.
Well, he's over the land.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
Yeah,
pretty.
Okay, well, I didn't know.
He's in the land
That's who
development
that,
area.
Mr. Osborne said to see, was him. Because I went to him with it, and I said, look, I didn't know that. And I
So-
said, why wouldn't we told you this?
Alright, so anyway, like I say, they're coming to us. One other thing, I did give them a copy of the zoning, ordinance of that chapter.
Yeah, we needed that, thank you.
But do you wanna say anything about what else?
Well,
thinking
what we're thinking about doing in this, of course, I'm just representing Mr. Hendrix in this. We split it up into the 4 pieces that you see there, 14.5 acres basically each. based on what we heard from the county, in that they don't really have control over it, and our talking with the mayor about it and kind of telling, well, you know, if you guys say we can split it up into 4 or 5 pieces, that's what we want to do. We think that'd be more revenue, we can sell it for more money, there'd be more revenue to the city, all of that from tax dollars and all that sort of stuff. In the long run, I understand is that whole 600 acres is in the city.
It's actually over 800 acres.
Is that what it is told? So, all of that, at some point, the idea would be to bring a developer in who would build that out in some manner, which obviously, I've been doing this a long time, that's going to require a land plan and all of the stuff that goes with it. But until tonight, I wasn't sure where the city stood on what possibly could happen and what couldn't happen.
Since, you know, I only briefly spoke with Jeff, the attorney, but what I read and understood, I think you can do what you're wanting to do as long as it butts up to a state, you know, like the state road.
State road.
Now, but we do want him to look at it and just make sure that we haven't missed anything.
Sure.
Because I don't want to speak out of turn, because this is something that we never had happen in talking about, you know, because.
And like I say, the development part of it, streets, curb and gutter, any of that eventually shows up, that's way down the road. That's way down the road. Right now, we just want to make sure what you see is something we can probably do. The splitting of the lot into 14.5 acre pieces. We think we can, but that's obviously y'all's call.
Yes, all right. But now I did tell
And
him.
the deeds have to reflect that.
Well, but also I told him that the streets had to meet at least some minimum standard.
Right.
Because not just like in Meadowlands, those streets need to really be wider for car trucks and stuff, other than Meadowlands. Stuff. I mean, even though they're not city streets, they still need to conform to some kind of standard.
Yeah, and what obviously what we're doing now is we're just putting 4 14.5 acre agricultural tracts out of that 58 acres. That's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to change from ag or any of that sort of thing. Again, that other process that I'm hoping we get to at some point in time is down the road, and we would conform to all that requirements.
Well, and it's like I told you, I think the town needs the right kind of growth. I mean, I don't want a mobile home park up there, but I think if we had some nice homes and stuff to increase our tax base.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I think, you know, because that's what we sort of need, the right kind of growth. If y'all don't care, we'll let Jeff look it over. And just make sure we're not missing something. I think you'll read in there, I think there is a fee to present that to the council. And the council is the planning and zoning board.
Yes.
That's the way it's set up. And like I say, as long as it's within legal rights of us and we're not doing anything against our ordinance and stuff, I don't see that we shouldn't have a problem. You know.
We appreciate y'all considering it. And,
I don't see a problem with it.
Yeah.
Which I told Maurice when he
Yeah.
first told me about that, I don't have a problem.
Well, like I said, we just want to make sure that we're following what we need to follow and stuff, and everything, but, and like I say, give Jeff a little bit of time to look at it and everything. Once I hear back from him, if we have to have a call meeting or we'll bring it back up at the next month's meeting, we'll try to get it resolved as quick as we can for you so that you can.
And that subdivided plat that you all have is what we would submit for approval by the city.
Okay. Jeff, do you have anything to add on?
No, I think the process that's in your ordinance is probably designed, it does require approval for any subdivision. think it's obviously aimed at probably subdivisions that are requiring, streets and roads and buffers and all that. As long as it meets the zoning classification, which surely 15-acre tracts do,
Yeah.
then, and everything's got road frontage, then it should meet requirements.
Yeah, we're set up, it has to be at least 2 acres. Even if it has a mobile home, it has to be at least 2 acres.
Well, now, that's why I told them,
And having this will help me a lot, so.
All right, so you can read over that, if you got any questions, we'll try to answer them, or get the answer for you. And like I say, we'll let Jeff look at it a little bit, and just make sure, that we're following, but like I say, if y'all want to, like I say, you can contact me, we'll put you back on the agenda for next month to approve it, and we'll try to get you in and out pretty quick.
Appreciate it, Mr. Mayor.
You don't expect this plat to change, correct? This is it. This is what you record with the county.
This is what we would record with the county. I assume, the only time it would change would be if we came back with a development plan of some sort. Yes.
Well, I was just anticipating the process calls for a preliminary plat approval and then a final plat approval, but if this is it, I think y'all could probably just move forward with final plat approval. I don't know that you have to approve it twice. It's going to be the same plat. It's not going to change, right?
So are you saying we could go ahead and do that?
If you want to look at it first, I will look at it first.
Yeah,
But then when you vote, I don't think you have to do preliminary approval and then vote again. I would just say when you vote, you can do it as final plat.
and that would give you a
I would
chance.
like to
that's what
read this
yeah.
before that happens.
I think that would be fair to all, a good idea for all parties and everything. And like I say, once I hear back from y'all and stuff, and if Jeff doesn't contact me any questions or anything, it sounds like he doesn't have any, we can put you back on for next month and try to get it approved.
Sounds great.
All right?
Thank all of y'all. We'll get out of your hair.
All right, well, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Maurice.
Okay, moving back to old business, the red house, the property next door.
Spoke with, Mr. Tharp, the attorney who's handling this. All parties have agreed, to the $25,000, and in the work session, he had also told me that our legal fees would not be any more than $2,500. He would try to keep it as low as possible, but that he guaranteed me it would not go over the $2,500. But the lien holder and both parties, they've all agreed to split the money that, rather than, in other words, instead of doing a $29,000 lien from these people, they're going to accept probably about $8,000 to get rid of the lien.
So roughly the total price would be $27,500 is what we have to write the check, or all the money is for. And of course, and that's one thing, I couldn't find anything on, Jeff, is I know you gotta work with a balanced budget. You can't just spend over what you approved and stuff, so what is the process of amending a budget if we was to go ahead with?
Put it on an agenda and amend it.
Okay, so you don't have to have public hearings or
Not
anything?
so
That's, to me, I'd want more to know that than the risk, but I understand, and I couldn't find anything either, so.
No.
So
That's
I
always
just,
hard
told you I didn't
you
think
know,
you had to.
but I just wanted to make sure, because, like I say, I just don't understand why you gotta do this and the other. Because I'd be wanting to know why they had that raise of money, That would be my thing.
But yeah, you can vote to do it anytime.
So anyway, is there any discussion or a motion to my job is to,
I make a motion that we amend the budget to purchase, the property at 4679, and I'll explain why. I know it's a lot of money, but I want y'all to understand, just like we're talking about going out back here and doing construction on this back wall, if we don't own that property next door, they can stop us from setting foot on it. Because this building is on the property line. We have nothing beside it.
well, actually, we do have a little bit on that side, looking at the plat that was drawn up on this building. It's like 2 foot or something on that side. With the
Is
plat.
2 foot gonna give you enough to go over there and work on that? No. And
Well-
we went through this with the previous owner before he passed away, and it was bad. Put in the French drain,
Okay, so,
Purchase price.
25,000.
all right, so we have a motion on the floor to purchase the property next door at 4679 Highway 136 West for $27,500.
This will also eliminate the cost of having to pay for a storage building, because that will give us a storage building to store our equipment.
So, does anybody want to make a second? That motion?
If y'all don't do this, how are you gonna explain to these people that have kept it open for us to purchase for over a year now? They've lost money.
Okay. First is not up to me, it's up to the council.
Well, that's what I'm asking the council is,
Second is the original contract was $20,000.
Right.
And it was.
and if we had had an appraisal done on it, we, at that time, they could have come back and amended the contract.
So I was talking to, if I may, I was talking to the mayor today, and this has only been my second council, so please forgive me. I don't feel comfortable with making a decision that I don't know the history, or I don't understand why we're purchasing this building. So I've spent,
Well, I'll tell you, originally, and even the mayor at that time was on board to purchase the property. Several members in the community and that were on the previous council wanted us to purchase it. They felt like that even if we didn't put City Hall in it, that it was a great opportunity for us to rent the building out and have an income coming in, which is what you're wanting to do with the train cars. But this is one that already has water, already has sewer. Go in, fix it up. You could easily get $1,000 to $1,500 a month out of that house to rent it.
All right, but here's the problem. Well, or if you want to discuss, here's the problem is it was known for drug activities. So, I don't think Chad would, and I wouldn't expect it to, and I'm sure not going to, and I don't think anybody should without the proper protection, for the potential of what is left over there, whether it be needles or whatnot. I think you would have to hire a company to come in and do that. But then, not being on the inside, but I think that you're gonna still have to spend, 20 grand on the inside. Now, that's just my estimate. Now, I say not even walking in there. But, I think what they're wanting is to make sure that we don't deplete our reserve. We just haven't approved get estimates, bids on replacing this back wall. I think that we have to, and I hate that, now this is my opinion, I hate that we have to lose out, but we don't know what it's gonna cost to fix this thing. And
So after you let the man let us use his property for over a year, now you're going back and telling, and you have, Randy, you can sit here and say what you want to, but you were on board with this from day one.
For $20,000.
Okay, so you want to shortchange the people now that they have an appropriate
No, I'm not.
appraisal and come back and say, oh, well, it may be worth this, but I'm not willing to give it to you now.
Okay,
But it's okay for us to spend the money as you wanted on the train cars and put in a septic tank and do all that work over there to rent them out, but you're not willing, you've held these people up, and that's what I'm,
No, we have
yes,
not.
you have known for months that appraised for $25,000.
Hold on, just a second, hold on. All right, Jeff, correct me wrong, that, you know, anytime that we entered into a contract, you know, and the contract was $20,000. During the process, we found a lien on the property. The lien has to be taken care of before the property is sold.
The contract is null and void.
Is that correct? Okay, so we don't have a contract, so they could sell it.
No, but you had word of mouth with this man, and I do not appreciate, everybody on this council has spoke with that man and assured him that we were gonna go through with this, and now you're gonna back out on it.
At $20,000. But Cheryl, we cannot keep spending money.
That's fine,
So,
go right ahead. But you're gonna call the man, and you're gonna call Wendy, and you're gonna tell her after all this time,
I would, I mean, you know, but now, I think,
and I suggest you get over and get that dump truck off this Prince property.
I don't think that you should be staying there,
Why?
because you're not the property owner.
No, but I'm the one that you had to go to this man and promise him and assure him of what you were gonna do. So it's my word based on what you said.
Okay, all right, so I think here's a motion and a second, or a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Now, is the contract expire at this point?
No. And when the contract was done, and it may not be null and void, but I signed the contract with the
It's
man.
been over a year and a half.
There was no date on it. There was no expiration date on the contract.
But the contract
Randy,
was for
excuse
$20,000.
me,
$20,000, it did
It
not
was
have
for
a closing date.
here's the problem. When Mr. Dinsmore signed the contract, he was under the impression that he owned all the property. He did not realize that there was another party involved. The title search revealed that there was another property owner. She has agreed to sell the property, verbally. She's in the process of signing the documents because nobody told her that they were gonna back out of doing the deal with him.
I was just wanting to make sure we don't have a binding contract and you're not gonna get sued or anything.
Well,
I mean, the contract was 20. and
it
now
may
it's
be,
like-
but
They are
he
asking
had
for
it.
more.
Yeah,
No, they're not asking more. And this is what I've been trying to tell y'all. I've been trying to get back in touch with him because the only reason we would have had to pay the $25,000, and I'm trying to get them to go back and agree to the $20,000, is that if we were doing the condemnation by law, we had to pay the $25,000. Now, they can come back and still agree to do the $20,000, which is what Henry's trying to talk to Wendy about now.
no, but that's not what your motion is presented here.
My concern is that you haven't forecasted, to my understanding, that if you purchase this property, you don't have an estimate or an idea of what it costs to maintain it. So you haven't projected those fundings, that those funds will come out of the budget.
When we originally discussed purchasing this property, it was with the understanding that there was a possibility that we may have to level the house. Basically, what they were after was to get the property next to this building, plus get access to the septic tank that's already over there. So that if this septic tank goes out, before we get the money to do a septic system, then you're not gonna be able to use this building anyway, because the county's not gonna let you put in another septic system. But you could hook into that one and pump it over there. That was another main reason. The other one was because the property is so close to the property line, and because we battled with the other property owner about having access to it to be able to get over there and do repairs on the building, that was another reason why we wanted the property. We didn't even want to have to condemn it, we were just using that, trying to get rid of the tax lien, or the parlor.
Okay. How long, Jeff, do I sit and wait for a motion? Or I mean a second, excuse me, a second.
Just call for a second, if there is none, I guess the motion fails.
Can Mr. Dinsmore and Wendy come back and sue us because we promised them to buy the property and they've left it off the market for this time frame and it has cost them money?
Because the question would be if they're still offering it for $20,000 and if it's still a binding contract. That would be the issues. We have to look at it and see. If they have asked for more money, then they're renegotiating and it wouldn't be. But if they're still on board with 20 and we sign the contract and buy it for 20, we may still be obligated on it.
For 20, but not for 25.
Well, and that's what I told you.
But your motion tonight is to purchase this property for $27,500.
All right, I rescind my motion. I make a motion. But if I go back and do all this, are you gonna agree to buy it at $20,000?
It's not mine. It's, Cheryl, you don't understand.
Well, but you're the one that has gone behind my back, knowing that I was negotiating with these people, and talked to all of these against it. That's what I have a problem with.
That's not accurate on my behalf. My behalf is I'm new on the council and he explained to me the backstory. Because please, if I may, my question was, why are we purchasing this property? How does that benefit the town of Talking Rock? Because I don't care how much it costs. I need to understand as a part of the council why we're purchasing that. You explaining that condemning it to use the sewage, that's the first time I'd heard of that. So that might be a justification, that might be valid.
Well, but here's the problem with that is that there's not enough property there to use it for the septic system. And the problem is that how are we going to get the line from there over there because the bathrooms and stuff is over here and not over there. So
Why can't you put in a pump system like you were gonna do with the sewer system that you're gonna put in?
okay, like I said, we cannot get on their property to
We have an easement to be able to get over there to take care of the sewer line.
take care of the sewer line, but not to move the sewer line.
Same difference, Randy.
Well, I don't think so, but anyway.
Alright, here's my motion. If I'm gonna go back to these people and tell them that we will only agree to pay the $20,000 that we first offered, I need to know if this council is gonna agree to buy that property or not. Otherwise, I'm out.
Was that the past council, did they already vote on?
Yes, they voted on purchasing the property for the $20,000 plus the legal fees.
So we have to vote again? That's already.
Not
for 20,000.
Not for 20,000, but that's not what the motion is on for. You know. So,
Alright, I make a motion that we amend the 2018 budget to include the cost of purchasing the property next door for $20,000 plus $2,500 in legal fees. And this is something that the council previously agreed to purchase that property in good faith to the current owners.
okay, but first, I think a couple things that we need to find out is the contract still valid? And,
So you're telling me that the word of the council when they voted,
I said we need to make sure the
that's
contract is
irrelevant.
still.
We promised these people, including Wendy, that we would purchase that property, and so they turned down other buyers to give us the opportunity to do it.
All right, again, I think we need to make sure that contract is still binding. If that contract is not binding, we need to sign another contract. Is that not right, Jeff?
If it's for some reason not binding, then you don't have it.
Right. I mean, if the date is on it or something that is run out, then right.
Is this council going to honor what the previous council voted on and agreed to do?
I will, because I don't know the history of it, and if I need to get called and spun up on that, I will. After I was talking to you, as a new council member, I have to be transparent as possible. I don't feel comfortable approving or agreeing to things that I personally don't know this story. If that's a hinder on the township, I understand that, but I need to understand why we're purchasing this. I really don't understand it. At $20, at $2, it doesn't matter. I just don't understand why we're doing it. And so,
Because you're landlocked here.
Okay, and I will make one statement that, a store owner, made. That the town, he said the town should not be, should not be buying up pretty much all the property. I mean, I'm not into business of purchasing the land, just be purchasing land. I mean, that's-
We weren't doing it just to purchase the land, Randy, and you know that. And that's why I get so upset,
Okay,
is that all of a
all right.
sudden you change your mind and you're spilling out all this stuff that's not true.
No, every bit of this is true.
Oh, so you're saying that,
Okay, now, hold up right there. Okay, one thing we're gonna have to get straight, that I am the mayor.
you are,
I am
the council
You
voted
are
to
the
purchase
council.
that property.
Okay, but we are
You work
not,
for us, I don't work for you.
no, you don't work for me either.
You work for us.
Jeff, how's
We are the ones that vote on the stuff, not you.
You all work for the people, I guess,
Yes,
you're
yes.
who elected you. None of
But
you
my
are
question
directing
is,
each other.
how can you give somebody in this community your word and you vote on it and you tell them that you're gonna buy their property and they take it off the market and then you back out on it, even if they're still at the $20,000? How do you do that? How do you look your citizens in the eye and tell them, oh, well, you know, just because they voted on it, I don't agree with them, so you're out of luck. You
So I
held
would-
on to this
okay.
property
So
for
I-
a year and you got nothing in return.
So, Jeff, sir, I've been reviewing the financials just for the last year and a half, and they don't add up. And this is revenue for the town. And I don't feel comfortable making major purchases when the paper trail of the financials don't add up. So I can look at this January sheet and I see these funds. I don't understand exactly how we've got to these funds. The numbers don't add up. I looked at the sheet and I talked it over with Mr. Banks, and I requested the meeting with him because he had sent me last year's budget, income, revenue, things going out, things coming in. It doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense at all. As a council member, I don't feel comfortable approving future spending when we don't understand where we're currently at with last year's spending. And so that's what concerns me, and that's what I brought up to Mr. Banks. I'm not gonna be on the council and make those major
What-
decisions.
What's
Well-
not adding up?
Well, it says that we've got $174,000 income and we spent $121,000 back.
That's right, and I explained to you, that's the computer system, Randy.
Okay,
Did you
but-
explain that to Mr.
I
Bond?
did explain that to him.
Well, we've gotta come up with a better system, that's my recommendation, a better system and understanding how it breaks down, because I
Sit down in there and look at the check, the ledger. There's copies of the ledger for every check that was written, every deposit that came in. I'm sorry that computer system doesn't print it out in a way and do it the way it's supposed to.
So my recommendation is that we concentrate at this time to establish a better guidelines and a better understanding of our financials moving forward, or then we can make those decisions to make that purchase. And if that means losing a possible potential property, I'm good with that, because again, at this point, I don't know where we're at in our
Well, please
financials.
understand you're
And
still
you're
gonna owe
asking me to-
$2,500.
And you're asking me to vote on spending money that I don't really understand if we have or if we don't.
No, I'm not asking you to vote on spending the money. That's already been voted on by previous council. I'm
Okay,
just asking that the budget be amended to do that.
okay, all
We
right.
already voted to spend the
Okay,
money, Randy.
hold on. Now, what if we don't have the money, because we spent we spent $85,000, the best I can tell, of the $87,000 budget last year that we took in. What this council is asking and what they're wanting is that we get control of spending and actually have a spreadsheet or a profit and loss or anything to understand without being an accountant.
Okay? We've already approved to do the new computer system, which is supposed to solve that problem.
Okay, but they did
But
not.
when you talk about us spending, I want you to go back and see who made the most expenditures out of the account.
I'm not sure QuickBooks is gonna show you exactly what you need to see. As far as, the breakdown of stuff. There's gotta be another format, of course, to do that, and there is. So QuickBooks is definitely something you need an update on because you're running off like a 2004
So-
edition of it.
Let me do a demonstration here. This uncharacterized income, do you see that, sir? Dave? Right here on income,
Yes.
can you explain to me what that is?
If you will look on,
Can you explain to me what that is?
No.
Okay. See my problem there? So
Well-
I know I don't understand what that is. I have another council member that doesn't know what that means. So we're asking, my background is I have over 30 years of business. I have an MBA from a Division I university, and I have ran billion-dollar companies. You cannot continue spending money if you can't track what you've done in the past. And so not only are you asking me to agree to spend $27,000, we haven't even forecasted what it's going to take to upkeep that property, which that money in the future would come through here. And you've explained things that you've done in the past, and that's great, and it's difficult because you've made hard decisions in the past. But just because you've made those decisions, you got to do your due diligence to look at it in the future and say, hey, is this still worth doing?
my problem is that we gave these people our word.
It doesn't matter anymore.
All right, but you
That
say.
has nothing to do
excuse
with the
me,
town.
You said you didn't understand where the uncategorized income is. If you will look on the financial statement that she gave you, it is detailed right here. The exact amount, and it shows you where that money came from.
Okay, so basically we gotta go to three or four different
Right here?
pages to get what we need.
Well, I can't help it, that's the way that
Well-
you decided to print it out. I don't know why you're doing this.
Because
You've done
we
it right
need-
here in detail.
Okay, Cheryl, the problem is every month that we got a financial statement was just a check register. We didn't have what we spent for the total of the year. That's all you give us was a check register.
I didn't give it to you.
Well, okay, now, was you and Jesse not in control of the computer? One of y'all did, one or the other?
I did not print out the financial reports,
Okay.
no, sir.
Okay. All right, so basically what this council is wanting is, they're wanting check and balances, and before we spend money, we need to get check and balances, and we need to figure out how this money's coming and going.
I removed myself from this property, and you can be the one to go back and explain to the man. And
I will.
he can be mad at you, and I will call him and tell him that I'm so sorry that this council does not honor previous council's commitment to me.
We're not,
And
we don't have enough information, because you came and asked for 25. You didn't come and ask for 20. And then you turn around and ask for 20. I mean, like I say, we,
I rescind my motion.
okay.
You do whatever you want to.
I'd like to look at the contract.
Do you have the contract?
Our attorney has it, our previous attorney has it.
Okay.
Does Mr. Clark have it?
No. I think actually, I don't know if it was Nancy or if it was, if she forwarded it on to her. I don't know. I left that in the hands of the attorney.
Okay, I'll track down the contract and see what, and present it to the next, council meeting. Soil and erosion?
I don't know why that says soil and erosion. I had requested that it be changed to issue authority update because soil and erosion is over and done. We've already approved the ordinance. I don't know why it says that. Buffy, I sent the request to her to have it changed. She said you told her not to change it. I don't understand that. If it's something that that I have to report on, it needs to state what I'm reporting on, not previous information. The update on us, and this should say issue an authority update, and I have one more document signatures that I have to send in to them, which will be done tomorrow. The gentleman assured me that the letter, once he has that in hand, will be sent up to the higher ups to sign off on.
The next item is 12-month CD renewal. My understanding with Buffy is that it is coming up for renewal the 19th of this month. And we need to decide if we want to leave it,
Are there penalties to withdraw from that CD?
not when it becomes maturity.
Not as long as it's immature.
Okay.
There
Yeah,
is
yeah.
penalty.
So, that's what I thought. Okay.
But my question is, are both of them not due for update?
That's the only one that was there.
I would double check with them, because I think they were both set up at the same time.
Is there any, if you don't renew it, is there any other better options besides 12-month CD?
I think there's limited what we can put it in. You know. Okay.
You have the winner there, but it's looking at you now.
This was the best option to get any return on the,
Right, to June right there. See that?
So we're limited to other,
you can't invest in it. It has to be.
I'll let you. Yeah, that's what's earning.
So is there a renewal fee?
No.
So we actually,
So the renewal is 5 years?
yes,
Is that how I read it?
4 years ago.
4 years? Okay, all right. I see.
2013 to 2017.
Why don't we go from 12 months up to 4 years?
That's what it says right there, it's 4 years.
It shows 2013 through 2017.
Okay, we need to check with the bank, because we've been doing just 12 months. And the purpose is that if you had an emergency and needed to withdraw, then it would be penalized.
That might be the history, we had it since 2013.
Well, I'm not sure if it, I don't know.
What bank is that with?
12 months community.
Yeah, it says
The
it's
community
just-
bank, that was just done
Yeah, I
last
think,
year.
well, it's just not, I don't know why it says 2013.
I don't know either. I think that's an error on their part, because
Okay.
we just
Right here.
transferred the money.
It's 12 months.
Yeah, but
So,
it
but
says
yeah,
original issue date
Yeah.
13, February
all right,
13.
so it might be,
Renewal date was 17, and from that, this is the profit that's been made from that
Yeah.
CD. That was this 12 months, 12. So look at this. So I guess that's 18 because it's a renewal. It's not 2 years. It's 19. At a 12-month.
okay. Hendrix.
And that is again. Is that museum? That's not the museum.
No, that's
not-
the
that's the
reserve.
general
That's
fund.
the-
Okay. So we agree on that, and then 2 months down the line, we can take $10,000 on it. How much do we get penalized for? Is it a
It's a
percentage?
percentage.
Okay.
It's what we were told when the accounts were set up.
So then I would recommend, I think you should just keep it as is. There's no hurt in renewing that. It's been working before, I should say.
Okay. All right, so I obtain a motion to renew the CD for another 12 months with the community bank.
Yes, sir.
All right, can I have a second?
Second.
All right, so James Wright made a motion, Caleb seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor? Okay. All right. Chad's not here. I'd say in the gas business, I'd say they've been running dead, so he's probably had his job there. So we already took care of subdividing the property. Next one is resolution for credit card name change from Jesse to Bucky. Have you got that resolution?
Got it.
Okay, I'll read the resolution. Whereas the town council of the town of Carbon Georgia requests that the town's credit card issued to Jessica Wells, former town clerk, be changed to Buffy Hawkins, new town clerk. Whereas the town council also gives authorization to the town clerk, Buffy Hawkins, to make inquiries about the account on behalf of the town of Cochrane. Now, therefore, be it resolved by motion and vote of the town council, resolved this day, February 8th, 2018. And basically, on the authorization, it's not authorization to increase any spending or anything. It's just to make sure that she can, on behalf of the town, to inquire about any charges or
Yeah, if there
dispute
was
any
any
charges.
issues as far as payments.
And if y'all don't, like I say, I want to make sure that.
Are we changing the name of the car?
Yes, that's what it is. Where,
Well, if her name's on the car, then she can make inquiries.
well, not, well, what about mine? I mean,
Because they're both tied under one account.
okay.
I'm just going by what they told me when we changed it before.
So, read that, make sure you're, I mean, I read it, but make sure y'all are good.
Yeah, I just read it. Is my name, does that matter if my name is wrong? I'm not Irish, I'm Italian.
Oh, she got O'Brien. It's
No, I
Brian.
thought it was over.
No, it's Brian.
Sorry. Sorry. The other looks good.
It's funny, I thought I was Irish for about 40 years.
Like I said, I just want to make sure that everybody, like I said, I just make sure everybody's,
And my understanding, Jessie she's on the council.
yes.
Okay, she's just leaving that duty and then Buffy's the temporary.
Okay. Well, we'll vote on it in everybody. Okay. Does anybody else want to look at this? Okay. All right. So do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do I have a second? I hear a second to the resolution. Any other discussion? All in favor? So good. All right, so we got that out of there. All right. Next item is Heritage Days budget. If y'all will look at the Town of Cognac 2018 budget.
And I have questions on here.
Okay.
You still have that we're paying the town council $3,000 and the mayor $2,400 on here?
Yes, because I want to leave out a budget item so that if we need the money somewhere else, that we can shift money around. Because when this budget was approved,
I understand what you're saying, but that needs to come off.
okay, but the problem is, okay, I'll go ahead and tell
Then
you.
create a category of discretionary funds.
Okay, I'll go ahead
Why
and
does
tell
it
you.
need to be taken off?
Okay.
Why does it need to be taken off?
Let me explain something before we go further. All right. When we approved the budget and everything, we just had a hand scribbled numbers that I come up with. I don't even see it now, but it was that, I think everybody's seen it, that I came up with. And we added some lines to it and tried to figure out the best we could, because I could never get a loss and profit or anything to go by. Ralph, with the progress, requested a copy of the budget that we approved. Okay, the budget that we approved, I wouldn't give it to him. I mean, it was, so I was trying to create something without saying that we was incompetent or I was incompetent. So that's how I came up with this, and at the time this budget was approved, this was the way that the funds was dispersed.
So this document's just internal to us, correct? That your estimates for your projected budget for 2018?
Well, the final number is what we have to work off of, but any number in there, if I'm correct, that we can shift around as long as we don't go over the overall budget of 77,000. If we see that we got money left over in one place, we can shift it internally without, too much.
Just need to do budget amendments when you do that.
So we can't. I thought I read that we could move money internally without upgrading the final budget.
I mean, if you were to move, say, if you decided you wanted to spend the $3,000 you would have designated the county council that you're not going to spend it
Right.
for, you were going to spend it on office supplies. I think what you want to do at the time is amend the budget to increase the office supply category and then remove it from the other category. I think your auditor probably would want it to be done that way.
Well, now my understanding is the books I read and what some other cities have done is as long as you don't change the bottom line, that you can move money, as long as you don't go over budget.
It's an audit question, but I thought that the auditors wanted the budget to reflect the expenditure. Because I think what we end up having to do sometimes at the end of the year, you'll see cities go back and amend all the stuff they did the whole year before, which you can do it that way too. But the question is just what satisfies the auditor. That's the issue.
Right. But at the time, like I say, trying not to call ourselves out, this is what I came up with. And this is what was on that piece of paper before we voted last month to suspend paying the council on that. And as everybody sees, I went ahead and added the 7,000 for Hendrix.
Was that in that budget that was approved?
No, it
What does
wasn't.
that mean?
It was me.
So that's
So,
proposal line.
yeah.
And Caleb, because you had the question and you were given the wrong information, I printed this off for you. The one payment of $967 that Randy said was for one ad, this is all the papers at that $967 included.
Well, I didn't say one ad, I said.
You said one of them is $967.
That's what I said, one of them was.
Right, but it's not one paper, Randy, it's 11 papers.
But it's one payment of
Okay,
$997.
but you didn't clarify
Yes, I
that.
did.
And the way it sounded was like we paid
Okay.
$900 for one ad.
All
Is that
right.
not the way you understood it, Kate?
Y'all cleared it up immediately after that.
Right, see, so what you said, that was misconstrued.
You said it right after you said it, you corrected it.
So do y'all want,
Back to Terry, go ahead.
well, back to, since we have, like I said, we have to either approve to spend 7,000 or not approve 7,000 to spend on Hendrix.
So your question, sir, is if we vote for that and it's successful, 3 months, 6 months down the road, we can amend that to adjust that and revote for that funding, for that budget, for that 7,000 line item. Is that correct?
Right. I mean, I guess the question is, are you wanting to put it in the budget tonight? If so, y'all can vote to amend the budget.
Okay.
Yes.
And one thing that I will add, talking to Mark Breslin, and like I said, at that time, I didn't have hard numbers. Like I said, as you see, it's hard to get hard numbers. And I was telling him our concerns and stuff, and he said, well, we might have to cut back on spending on heritage days, or not have it. was his words. So, he thinks that it is established enough that it should be able to cut the spending on the advertising. Does everyone understand what we took in and what we roughly spent by paper? Some of that stuff was supposedly purchased in 2017 or before 2017.
2016.
2016.
This is total.
Advertising budget last year, and I'm not sure that it was added correctly, but what I was told was that it was 26. I didn't think that was correct. But in going back and talking with some of the papers that we advertise with, I have already eliminated it down to 2141 for this year. But there's one of those that if they don't negotiate down, we're not going to advertise with them this year.
So here again, it comes back to being able to see real numbers. And
We should be able to, you should pull it up on a spreadsheet that says exactly what was spent.
So,
Right here's the proposed amounts that they.
That's a
told.
proposed, what did we exactly spend on the budget?
last year. And the only thing.
And I don't expect you to know that right now, but is there a document that I can pull up somewhere that shows me exactly?
Well,
Other than the ledger of the bank
before we-
statement?
I don't agree with the 2,600. Please understand, I don't agree with that. I would like the opportunity to go back and see what numbers are put into that amount, because I think it's incorrect.
but so here.
But I didn't enter those
Well, I
numbers.
understand that, but what I'm fixing to say is this council and me included, the problem is we've got to get the handle on real numbers and not somebody entered it wrong or paying something for the previous year, and really get hard, concrete numbers to be able to say, we can buy this over here, we can spend $8,000 if it takes it for Heritage Days. What, you know, we have to have a council, checks and balances, and we haven't had that, clearly. And that's what we need to do before we start spending. And I will address that, in the QuickBook thing there. But,
Well, I mean, that's been approved for months.
well,
QuickBooks thing, I don't know
Well-
why.
I will get to that.
So the question is to approve a budget of 7,000 for Heritage Days. And so I can understand, approving that tonight, 3 months, hypothetically, 3 months down the road, can we vote to completely delete Heritage Days in that budget? Is that hypothetically we could do that, or are we locked into spending that money for?
Well, I mean, the only problem is pretty soon you need to start working on Heritage Days.
I mean, I'm already
So,
working on it, John, and so I've got to know what I've got to
So-
work with.
Okay, all right, I see.
Well, now what we can,
You're about to approve something that you were in the black last year for. So that's my concern. Or you were in the red, I'm sorry, you were in the red by $3,000 or some change, roughly. And so I'm concerned that this council is now approving for money that we already know this event, based on that estimated value of last year, put us $3,000 in debt or in the red.
And it's called community development. There's stuff that you do, like we've done in the past, that you don't get any money back on.
It goes back to what, as a new council member, I think we need to work our books and clean that up first to understand where we're at and how we can move forward.
Well, the
with that.
thing of it is, I gotta know if you're either gonna do Heritage Days or you're not, because I'm not gonna put all these hours in if you're not gonna have Heritage Days.
As a council
It's
member,
very
I agree with,
time-consuming.
I want to do the Heritage Days. I think it's great for the
but do
town.
you want to set the budget in as, at what we brought in last year, at the 41,704?
But even that's not a guaranteed number.
Well, I know, but that's the only thing
In
we
past
got.
years, we have brought in as much as 6,000.
No, but is it safe to say that that's a good estimate of starting what we're planning for, based on what the spending was for advertisement, for security, transportation, things like that? Is it a good set? As we understand, we can adjust to that. For example, we're not paying ourselves on the board, so can that money be fluctuated for a delta?
Well,
I don't know.
And it could at the end of the year. I will tell you that the number is 7,000, just on what the numbers that was on that piece of paper that I was handing, probably wrong. The spending on them, spending on Heritage Days was $7,500 some odd dollars. And we only took in $4,174.
Okay.
So I just.
And according to those numbers, if they were right, I've already cut over $500 out of the expenditure.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, I think that at the present time, I mean, I don't know what, but I don't know what y'all want to say, I'll be honest with you, I just don't.
I think I feel comfortable with approving the base estimates from last year's. You said it was like 4,100 or something.
Well, no, that was income.
That was income?
Yeah.
So what did you budget for last year, the 7,000 as well?
No.
Okay. Do you know what you budgeted
I
for?
mean, I don't know. There wasn't, but
It was under tourism, it wasn't just designated as Heritage Days. It included the Christmas program, it included the egg hunt.
Well, you're not gonna have the expensive egg hunt this time, so.
No,
well, I don't know.
well, yeah,
Maybe.
we're assuming we're not.
Sorry.
If we do, it's gonna be somebody else's ball on it.
Sorry.
I think we need to, you know, like they set a budget somewhere closer to the 4174 than the 7. But
I make a motion that we set it at 5,500 simply because we don't know what the deputies are gonna cost us. And that is a factor that we have to spend the money on. I mean,
well, but I mean, we do know there's $30 an hour. I mean, they're,
you don't know what they could go up this year, Randy, that's what I'm
well,
saying.
I mean, they could, but I mean, they're not going to go that. I mean, that's for sure.
Okay. That sounds good.
All right, so we're going to scratch that number out and put 55 if we approve it. All right, so do I have a motion to approve 55,000
I just made a
or
motion.
5,500?
I just made the motion.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll say.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second to put in the budget 5,500 for Heritage Days. Do I have any other discussion? If not, all in favor? All right. I think everything else is. Yeah, well, similar to that. Okay, D is set up QuickBooks. Okay. I talked to the lady, Natasha Howard, that couldn't take the job because of conflicts of interest with her other job. The state requires us to follow a uniform chart of accounts, and I spoke with Rob Jones before, the commissioner, and got permission for her to come and set that up for us. I did talk to Natasha, and she said she would be willing to do that. Because she works in the financial department in county government, in Phoenix County. And I think it would be very wise for her to set up the way that it needs to be set up as spread out as possible with her working in the county government. One way or the other, we're going to have